Hey guys, I was halfway through adjusting my chain slack when I realized I should probably shoot a quick video about it because I don't think I've talked about this before. Basically, all you need for this on the CBR650F is a size 22 socket, which will fit on the left side, a really large socket and or an adjustable wrench of some kind for the other side, which is actually larger than 22 and is larger than the set that comes with my came with my set, and then a 10mm and a 12mm wrench to handle this end of the deal. So all you really got to do is loosen this. So this is a long bolt that goes through the axle. Well, it is the axle bolt, and the other side has a large nut. And in order to loosen that, you gotta use the socket on this side and then hold the other side tight. So in order to hold the other side tight, use a towel or something so I don't mess up the finish on the metal, and then a large adjustable wrench here, and just hold the other side tight. So something like this. Towel, wrench, find where it's nice and tight. That way you don't have to wreck the finish on it if you don't have a set of metric sockets that goes this large. So I already loosened it up, as you can see here. And once you have the axle bolt loosened up, you can actually move the wheel back and forth a little bit like that. And you can see the chain moving when I do that. So that leaves us free to adjust the little bolts here. This bolt is what creates the separation between the axle and the swing arm here. So this is what you want to move, and if you think about it, this is the bolt that you want to reverse. So you want to pull this counterclockwise in order to make it longer, and that'll push the axle back ever so slightly and tighten up the excess chain free play that you might have. So as it says, the chain free play should be about 30mm or 1¼ inches, and that's from the center here. I haven't measured this, but I can tell from the feel of the bike that it's a little too loose. So the 10mm wrench is for actually loosening this, and what I like to do is just count the number of rotations that I put on each side in order to make sure it's even. For example, 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. Now I'm just gonna kick it forward all the way. Check the slack, which I think this is good. At least a little bit better than before, not too much, but. And then in order to make sure this stays at the right distance, we're gonna use the 12mm wrench and just make sure it's nice and tight. So this will probably have to turn about 3 turns, just like the last one, maybe a little less. So we just tighten that down. And then we'll go ahead and tighten back up the axle, which you can do a lot by hand actually. Just kind of stand over it like this is what I do if you don't have somebody to help you out. Alright. For this kind of work, it's really handy to have a rear stand. This and all kinds of different work. I really recommend buying a rear stand. This is a price tag of $110. I bought this off Cycle Gear, but of course, you should never buy anything off Cycle Gear if it's not, 50% off. So I paid $50 for this. You should never have to pay more than $50 for a stand unless you're really in a bind. I saw at Harbor Freight the other day, they had them for like 30 bucks. And Harbor Freight had coupons for the holidays, that kind of thing. So unless you want something fancy, which, by all means, go for it, you should be able to, get any job done you need for about $50 for a stand like this, and it makes life so much easier for all kinds of different tasks on here. And I guess while I'm at it, I'll show you guys how to use one of these stands, because it can be a little bit scary the first time you're lifting a bike if you've never done it before and you're by yourself. So I start by having it stood up normally like this with the handlebars over to full left on its stand here. And then you stand behind the bike and position these little things, which just hold on to the bottom of the swing arm. You don't need any fancy spools. You just position it. It's not too picky of where you are. If you're doing something like this, you want to make sure that you have access to the bolts. But I slowly start lifting it, which the bike will start straightening up. You'll have it be resting on both sides, and then holding the back of the bike to stabilize it, slowly push down until you're on there. At this point, you can, straighten out the handlebars. You can put it the kickstand if you want. I like to put it in neutral. But I recommend, unless you really have to have this out of the way, I recommend leaving it down. Because there have been many times when I go to stand this bike up, which you just do by holding onto the tail end with your left hand and lifting this up slowly, and then setting it down to the left. Many times I have went to set my bike down and the kickstand wasn't out, and I had a little panic as I was holding the bike up by the tail. Never dropped it in that way yet, but wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I recommend keeping the kickstand down. So I was also washing my tires because they get all this baked on mud on them from, living on a dirt road. And I decided I'd also just add a quick little thing about the front stand. So the front stand is, less adjustable, but is also universal. This fits all my bikes and is the same price as the rear stand. And it's not nearly as useful. The only times I've used the front stand are for doing this, like if you want nice access to the front for cleaning the wheel or the tire or anything like that, or if you're actually taking the wheels off to change your tires, then these stands will actually just support the motorcycle like this without the wheels. So I've done that on the 250, but not on the 650 yet. And it's pretty handy to have a nice matched set. So in order to clean off the grime that accumulates from the dirt road on the side of these tires, I just use regular dish soap, a dilute solution, and I take an old towel and just rub it off. I wouldn't recommend using anything other than dish soap because, this part of your tire is not where you want something slippery or oil-based to end up. The people who use the tire shine shit on their bikes are just stupid. Don't ever do that. Use a mild soap, mild detergent, and you should be good to go. This took like 2 minutes to do, and that way it looks a lot nicer. Also, it's hot as shit today, guys, so I'll remind you, check your tire pressures as often as you can. I'm gonna do that right now. Nice little maintenance session with a chain slack adjustment, wheel wash, and tire pressure. So have a good one, guys. Hope your holiday weekend was good. Anyway, hopefully that's helpful, guys. And a sneak peek on the status update of my 87 Project Shadow. This is what I've chosen for all the metal pieces. It's gonna be that nice blue. Started cleaning up the engine and all that shit. Gonna find a stock exhaust on it, cleaning everything up. Carbs are gonna come out today or this week. Shining everything up, ordering a few parts, looking good. See you guys later.